We have a follow-up to the story we did, I guess, about last week on A&E premiering a mini documentary series on the KKK that would have been premiering in January. We had decided that we would have been interested to see it, to see how they would have handled the subject matter, even though it was definitely a controversial announcement from A&E. Well, they just announced that they're actually going to be canceling the series entirely because, well, it was found out that producers were paying some of the Klan members that they were working with, which again goes against an A&E policy. So A&E said in a statement Saturday it was dropping Escaping the KKK, a documentary series exposing hate in America, a day after the network learned that nominal payments were made to members of the hate group by third-party producers. And it's unclear exactly what the payment was for. It seems as though it was for access and just sort of paying for their time and just getting into certain situations and events that maybe the group didn't want them initially in, and then they use money to get into those events. The reason why this is getting a lot of buzz is because, quote, A&E said they had previously assured the public and groups, including the Anti-Defamation League and Color of Change, that no payments were made to the KKK during the production, believing that that was the case at the time. I really do respect A&E for coming out and acknowledging that yeah, there were some errors and some, they went against policy. Maybe they didn't, the heads didn't know it at the time. And just coming out and being forthright with that information is something that you can respect them for. And they say, this is a statement from the network, quote, A&E takes the authenticity of its documentary programming and the subject of racism, hatred, and violence very seriously. I think I really have to salute them on what they are doing because if they're going to do a documentary series, you can't pay for it. It made me think of the other.
I mean, they do.
Well,
that happens. I mean, they're paying for people's times.
The blanket statement "you can't pay for it" is incorrect. I take that back. What I mean is that, for example, other documentary programs on their network, I'm thinking of Intervention, The First 48. You can't pay addicts. Can you imagine how that would sort of like mess it up?
I'm pretty sure they do. What I was actually going to say is, no, people get paid for, people get paid stipends, people get paid per diem all the time. This is normal because you're wasting someone's time technically. Like you're shooting them. It's an inconvenience on their lives. So it's totally normal for people to pay people that are the subject of their documentary incremental but like small fees here and there, and that's a big part of it. However, when you're paying a member of the KKK, things get a little bit trickier. And especially because A&E had assured the Anti-Defamation League and a bunch of other nonprofits that they weren't actually going to pay these people. That's where the problem starts.
That's really interesting. And I would actually be really curious to hear from you guys in the comments if you know of what A&E's payment policy has been on on shows like Intervention and
worked in production.
First 48. Well, but I have not on shows like Intervention. I've worked on makeover house shows and stuff. When I was a PA, but
no, but that's a perfect example because that's reality TV. Therefore, the viewer always assumes that it's reality, that it's based in reality, that those people aren't actually paid actors. However, and there's a difference between being a paid actor and someone that you're documenting that you pay for their time and the inconvenience that you're bringing about their lives, their daily regimen. So. Yeah, but you know that those people get paid, so it's no different in this instance either.
I don't know. I guess maybe I had falsely assumed that for I guess heavier subject matters and more serious documentary series, that of course there wasn't any monetary compensation, but I could be totally wrong in that, and I would be really interested to hear about what is the policy for also the industry at large, because it's kind of an ethical issue. I mean, it's a major ethical issue. After you talk about, when I'm thinking about other shows that A&E have done, I am thinking of Intervention, and I'm thinking of, wow, I really hope they don't pay the addicts. But then I'm also thinking the counter argument in my head is, well, how else would you get these addicts to sit down with cameras? I'm sure
their families.
Yeah, with their families.
You need to get consent from them too.
Why would someone open up their lives to a camera? These producers, they don't know them, to share their story. There must have been monetary compensation, and to that regard, oh my God, that seems really that seems really ethically incorrect to pay someone who is addicted to heroin. But in this case, with regards to the KKK show, it's someone who is addicted to hate, and someone who.
Okay, so there you go. Actually, I have an answer for your question.
Yeah.
Intervention actually doesn't pay the addicts, but they pay for their free treatment for their stories.
So then if they don't accept treatment, then they get paid nothing. Yeah. How then wow, I wonder what the conversation is when they when the producer approaches the addict saying, would you mind us filming your life?
Yeah,
what do I get in return?
90-day stay at rehabilitation center for free.
But they don't know that from the jump. Like they only find out about the intervention later on. It's just I
Are
think
you
it's
sure about that?
Yeah, they definitely don't know there's an intervention at the beginning. They know it at the end. But
so why do they think that they're being documented for?
Well, they think that they're in a documentary about addiction. That's what they always say at the top of the documentary. That I know, but it brings up an interesting conversation that I would really like to hear from our viewers on about payment on documentary series.
Everything you see in television is a lie.
Yeah, but
everything.
Well, there is a lot of falsity in television and reality television, but that's what I think is so good about this story that we're hearing from A&E is that they sort of pulled back the curtain and they said, you know what, they pulled back the curtain because they got caught. They got caught, but they owned up to it. That's good. They did. They got caught, they owned up to it. They said, you know what, it was wrong that we had some producers, maybe there were some crossed signals. I don't know what happened.
It's because you don't fuck with the Anti-Defamation League. That's why.
True,
that's why they got.
They got caught, and they owned up to it, and the show is canceled, and I think that is the right course of action, because imagine, the show would have completely been tainted if we had known, yes, some of the members of the KKK were being paid, and also, here's the documentary. It would have been like, well, this is all now staged. This is all it's no better than any reality television show.
He's just like, here's a 10. Say something about the Jews. You slip a 10.
You can't say that.
Fight that black person.
Oh my God. Here. Oh my God, Hasan Piker. Guys, we want to hear from you in the comment section below. What do you think about this story? What do you think about the ethical issues that go with being compensated for a reality documentary-based television program? I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.